everybody, thank you for joining me. So this is an update and finale for my Sturmtiger build that I was doing with Greg Riley and Paul, military modeller Paul. We were all building Sturmtigers in appreciation of our friend Steve Mottram, who's going through the mill a bit at the moment health-wise. Greg and Paul built 1/35th scale Sturmtigers, and of course I wanted to build 1/72nd. Now you've seen some progress already, but as I say, I just want to wrap it up by showing you some progress and then the finale. Now it is in a water feature, and as a consequence I bought this stuff, the deep pour from Woodland Scenics. Now this gives you, I'll just flip it round. So as you can see there, it gives you the resin, if you like, and the activator, 2 cups to stir the stuff with, and some stirring sticks and gloves. And it basically tells you that you can do a maximum depth of 12 mil, say. And what you do is you measure the volume that you need, and then they give you the measurements for how much resin you need and how much activator you need for the volume you require. So I did all that. I also added some of this stuff, which is a water tint, and as you can see it's olive drab, because the water I wanted to be quite murky. So yesterday I got the quantities, stirred it for 10 minutes like they said, made sure that all the joints were sealed on the dio, and then proceeded to added the tint and then proceeded to pour it, and this is the result. So I don't know whether you can make it out, but can you see this huge bubble that developed there? Whether it's because resin, I believe, generates heat when it's going off, and so I think it was the heat that created this huge bubble here, and there's another one at the back there, and there's another one under the branch here. Unfortunately I spotted them too late, and a skin formed on the top. This area was drying much quicker than the other parts of the resin. So I'm going to try and rectify it one or two ways. The first is I'm going to try a second pour, only half the depth, so 5 mil. And I'm hoping that will be enough, because I want the water level to be higher anyway, and I'm hoping that will be enough to fill this and cover it, both locations, or all 3 locations to be honest. So that's the hope. If that doesn't work, then I have got a fallback plan, but it, depending on well this works depends on what I do next with this dio. So the next part of this video, what you'll see is the result of the second pour and whether it did work. Hi everyone, I'm back. So you can see the results of the second pour, which is just it's perfect. It filled in those large holes left by the bubbles previously. There were some bubbles that came to the surface, but they didn't form a film, so I was able to pop them and they just closed over, no problem at all. After about an hour, I think it was, they stopped forming. As you can see, we've got very few, even of the small bubbles, and they were coming to the surface and just popping of their own accord. So I think the way forward with this product in the future for me is I will be, if I've got like a deep pour to do like 12 mil, then I'll probably do 2 6s. In this instance, I've done 17 mil I think altogether. So again, perhaps do 3 pours of 6 mil. Unfortunately I got a bit carried away. I had excess resin left, and I poured more in than I intended to originally. I didn't want so much of the track in the water. I wanted it to be above the water a bit more, but it is what it is. Now the only issue now is I keep putting it in the shade. Let me just move it across a bit, see if we can get a bit more light on it. There you go. So you can see the gloss finish on it now. And I was just about to say, the only issue is now that gloss finish. I mean, that is a perfect finish, which is so unnatural. You can see the clouds above the house. So I'm going to have to mess it up now. Obviously it needs ripples in the water. The river's supposed to be flowing, if I turn it that way, the river's supposed to be flowing towards you now. The tank is slightly offset in the river. I've been trying to look at videos of obstructions in rivers and how the water flows around it. I haven't really found anything. What I may have to do before attempting to do the ripples, there's the River Tame, not far from the house. It's about well, it's a 5-minute drive, and it's near a nature reserve. So what I may do is go for a walk a bit later today. As you can see, the weather's really nice, and take some photos. I know there's some obstructions within the river. There's a couple of concrete blocks that are in there, just to give me an idea of, you know, how angry the water is. I don't want it to be a fast flowing river. It's quite a slow moving river that I want to do, and I think the River Tame will give me that idea. I might show you a couple of shots actually if I get there, so you can see where I took my inspiration from. So the next time you'll see this, it will have some of the ripples added to the dio. Okay guys, so I'm back, and this is going to be the final reveal of the dio with the Sturmtiger in it. Now, I just said previously in the video that I was going to go down to the River Tame, take some photos, get some inspiration as to how to do the ripples on the diorama. The same day I'd been talking to Greg Riley and Charlie Mack, and in my text to Greg Riley, Greg basically said to me, isn't there anything in the photos of the Sturmtiger that you can use to show how the ripples would look on the river? And I said no. So then a bit later on the evening, I was chatting with Charlie Mack, and he said to me, isn't there anything in the photos of the Sturmtiger that you can use that will show you the ripples on the river? And this time I said no, but then I went back and checked the photos. And so the diorama that you'll see now is pretty much, the surface of the river is pretty much what it looks like in the photographs, and I will put a link in the description so you can have a look at the photograph yourself. So let me get the dio and we'll have a look at it together. So here it is, guys. The photos show an almost glass finish to the water around the Sturmtiger. It looks like the water level had receded, so that the Sturmtiger was almost in like its own little pool or something. You can see a sandbank in one of the photos around the back of the vehicle, and there's not a ripple on the water at all. So when I said that it looked unnatural previously in this video, it was actually looking pretty natural, or you know, one of the states that water can be in. So I'm leaving it as it is. All I've done is I've painted the balsa wood around the edges black to give it a border. I've even left, see what a lot of modelers do is they will trim the balsa wood down, and they will also trim this, is it Nemiscus, that goes around the edge where it's the liquid has receded, but it's got that curve to it where it's still clinging onto the perimeter. They will trim that down as well. Then they will sand it flat, and then they will gloss varnish the whole thing to bring it back to you know, a nice shine. But I've decided to leave it alone. You know, the box is forming the frame for this diorama. So that's my first diorama completed in this second 6 months of the year. As you know, I did quite a few the first 6 months, and I've been away from the bench quite a bit. So I hope you like this, Steve. Obviously this build was a dedication to you, along with Greg and Paul, where we all made Sturmtigers. What I'm going to do now, I think, is move on and finish my buddy build that I was doing with Doug Ensley. Doug finished his months ago. I was waiting for a figure to carry on with mine. I've had that now for about 4 weeks, so I can get on and do the that build now. I think I've got the passion again to be building, which is great. I'll still continue with my coin channel, but I think I'll be spending a lot more time back on the modelling channel now. Anyway guys, thanks ever so much for watching. I don't know how long this final video has taken. I hope you're having a great weekend. It's the Queen's funeral on Monday, so we have Monday off. I think a day of remembrance, to be honest. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch up with you soon.